Across the border, where reports of trouble in neighbouring South Sudan as the government announced an attempted coup this afternoon. South Sudan President Salva Kiir accused his former vice president of orchestrating the failed coup, which has thrown the capital, Juba, into a state of panic. KTN's Edith Kimani now brings you the timeline of the events in South Sudan in the last 24 hours.
Sunday evening around 10 p.m., reports of gunfighting and explosions begin to trickle out of Juba. Details are sketchy, but social media users report ongoing fire exchange throughout the night. It is not until Monday morning that the world's attention turns to the capital of the world's youngest republic. A faction of the Presidential Guard allied to former South Sudanese Vice President Riek Machar is later accused of having triggered the fight with the pro-government side of the military. The fighting continues until midday, when tensions reportedly cool. The scarce information coming out of South Sudan is from citizens and expatriates living in the capital. They all report that fighting is concentrated in the army barracks. A few minutes to 1 p.m. and word finally comes from the army spokesperson, Colonel Philip Aguer, who speaks to the BBC.
There are casualties. We have not gathered all the wounded to see who is on the side of the attackers, who was on the side of the army, and that fact will be publicly made known as soon as possible.
Despite his assurances, these pictures of a ghostly Juba keep emerging. Further reports suggest that Juba residents are stocking up food supplies in light of the fighting. Entry and exit points into South Sudan are also closed, with major airlines including Kenya Airways cancelling flights to the capital. British and American citizens are also issued with travel advisories from their governments. President Salva Kiir later emerges in full combat fatigues to address the situation, calling it an attempted coup. And there is more.
I hereby declare curfew in Juba has to be observed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
The president lays the blame at the feet of the former vice president Riek Machar, who was fired by Salva Kiir in July. The United Nations mission in the Republic of South Sudan, or UNMISS, reports shortly after that hundreds of civilians have been seeking refuge in their two compounds in Juba, majority of them women and children, some of them with bullet wounds. As dusk approaches, Juba residents retreat to their homes for the first day of a curfew, which, according to the ambassador, may last a few weeks. South Sudan became an independent state on 9th July 2011 and has experienced internal conflict since then. Edith Kimani, KTN.